Growing up, I did all kinds of sports. I was in soccer, I was in track, but I primarily did martial arts. My name is Colin Woolers, and around 10 years old, I got a Wii, and I fell in love with video games ever since. When I got to college, I found out about esports. But whenever I mentioned I was on the esports team, they kind of looked at me differently. And I was starting to wonder why that was. So that led me to do this, to figure out what the general public's view on esports was. Now, the first place I wanted to ask was the field house, in the training room. So today I'm at the Johnson Field House. The second place I asked was the women's basketball game while they were warming up before a game. Today I'm at the women's basketball game. And the last place I asked was the homecoming tailgate. So today I am at the UW South football game versus River Falls, and I thought this would be the perfect place to ask people if they believe that esports players are real athletes. Do you think that esports players are real athletes?
No.
All right, and now here's the follow-up question. Why do you believe that?
Well, if it's just esports, are they doing anything physically other than with their thumbs?
That's true, that's true.
Well, I think the definition of an athlete would have some physicality to that, and I don't know that an electronic version or an avatar would qualify as an athlete. I think it's a talent. I think that there can be a competition, but it's an electronic competition, not a physical. And to be an athlete, you need to have the physicality.
If you're sitting down, it ain't a sport.
Competition is a sport, in my opinion. So I think esports got that, but being an athlete, the definition is like, I don't know, like exercising, like pushing yourself to the limits.
Yeah.
You're not really doing that physically in esports. But I do think it's a sport because of the competition. That's what I would say.
Do you believe that esports players are real athletes?
Yes, I do, of course.
Yes,
Yes. All right, why do you believe that?
because I play video games. And I mean, it takes skill.
Fair enough.
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, you guys practice all the time. I mean, I'm sure it's not as much of a physical athlete as you are more of a mental athlete, I guess, but sure, I guess.
Yeah, it's a lot of mental. And I don't think I could. I'm not good at video games, so.
Do I believe esports players are real athletes? I think they probably can be real athletes, yes.
I would say why not? They compete like every other athlete, just a different form of competing.
So some people could say the same for a golfer. It doesn't require much physical talent, but it does require
Then
precision.
that person's never golfed. That's stupid. That's stupid. That's a physical sport. They're swinging the club. They're not pushing a button.
If you can drink while you're doing it, it's not a sport.
If I'm being so honest, sometimes I wonder if golf should be a sport. So.
No, that's totally valid.
And some people would say the same about my sport because I do track and field here. I throw, and people say that throwers don't have to have a lot of athleticism, which is also very untrue in my opinion.
I mean, golf is on like kind of where I would say, is it a sport? Is it a hobby? A skill? I don't know, but they do still lift. They do still do some of that sort of stuff that I would kind of say is more of a like athletic than maybe like an e-sport would be.
For my last question is, what do you think like esports players and teams could do to convince the general public that they are real athletes or compete in real sports?
Well, that's kind of a hard question. I would say maybe they want to take a video of themselves actually doing some kind of an activity that requires some physical movement.
I think if they were more out there, at least social media presence, especially just because it is an online thing.
Maybe just make more of an awareness on some of what the esports are. I think as somebody who doesn't really know a whole lot about esports, maybe just educating just the general public on what some of the sports are that they play.
Just say you're putting in the work, like you can show that you're putting in the work in it because they just think you're sitting there playing video games, but maybe show all the practice and hours that you put into it.
See, that's a very hard question because the thing is, there might not be a way. There's some people that are very heavy supporters in esports. There's some people that are die-hard followers, but there's also some people that think it's a waste of time. And in this type of society, that's just sometimes people, you can't change their mind, and the only way you really can is just keep doing what you're doing, and maybe someday people will change.
Nothing ever.
For them to actually play the sport.
No.
Get in the weight room, man. Get in the weight room. Let everybody else see that you're on campus.
I don't know. You'll have to show me.
So after gathering information from the public, I figured the next best thing to do would be to ask active esports players on the UW Stout Overwatch team so they could share their thoughts and opinions on what the people had to say.
I'm Cody, name's Krilt. I do main support for the team. I pretty much just play Lucio almost the entire time. That's my job.
I'm Zach. My Overwatch name is Odin.
I'm Brennan, Southeast in Overwatch. I play Flex DPS for the team.
My name's Bennett, or also known as Spinal, and I play hit scan for the Overwatch team.
I'm Simon. I go by Drone Fry, and I play Flex DPS, specifically Tracer.
Hi, I'm Leo Driesting. My name in game is Flack, and I'm the captain of the Overwatch team.
My name's Josiah Richards. I'm sort of like I'm benched right now. I'm a support player. I'm kind of being like trained up to play during my junior and senior year. So I'm in it for the long haul right now.
The first main topic that we showed them was on whether people actually thought esports players were athletes and why they thought that.
Do you think that esports players are real athletes?
No.
All right, and now here's the follow-up question. Why do you believe that?
Well, if it's just esports, are they doing anything physically other than with their thumbs?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie.
Stupid.
Yeah, I'm already a little annoyed. So, I think there's a huge misconception that like just because we might not, like obviously, I mean look at me. I'm not in Travis Kelce physique, right? I mean maybe how he is now, but not how he was. But like, there's still a lot of like brain power and a lot of decision making and like complexity that goes into like being an esports athlete.
The next thing we showed them was more related to the physical and mental sides of competing, and we compared it to other sports to see the similarities and differences.
So some people could say the same for golf, where it doesn't require much physical talent, but it does require
Then
precision.
that person's never golfed. That's stupid.
Like even right there, it was like we compare it to golf. Golf does take a lot of precision to like line up. If you like if your arm is rotated, if you're not bending correctly.
Focusing on the angle of their wrist, their arm, their foot placement.
Golf, man, I think this is just about as much as like this, right? It's a lot of like precision that goes into golf, and I think
we kind of do the same thing. We are using very, very fine, small movements.
As a hit scan, where it's like my job to be hitting the shots and having that precision, like there's a lot of time that needs to be put in to like get that muscle memory correct.
The actual fine motor skills and the reaction time you need is low-key insane, and I don't think people talk about that enough.
Could convince you guys that esports players are real athletes, if there even is a way to convince you guys.
Nothing ever.
Dude, what a
Wow. Get in the weight room, man. Get in the weight room. Let everybody else see that you're on campus.
I mean, what I found interesting was like not a single person really suggested anything that has anything to do with esports. Like they don't know what they're talking about. True. Like what do you mean get in the gym? Like what the hell does that have to do with me playing like Overwatch? Like I do go to the gym. If I go more often, do I suddenly become an athlete? Like it doesn't affect the way I play Overwatch. Like what the hell are you talking about?
We're not like our job isn't to bulk up because we don't get better by just being like more vascular and bigger and like stronger. We don't like that's not how we improve. And so like a lot of people think of the term athlete to be like that big like peak physique kind of person. I think there's a lot more like mental and a lot more of like trying to outthink somebody than.
I was gonna say, especially with that, like our game is like very visually overstimulating. Like if you're new to the game, you do not know what is happening, like in like mid fight, and but it's our job and it's everybody else's job who like enjoys the game to like know what's happening and like precisely what to do in that instance, which is something that like it's hard to like explain how that's difficult, but it's hard. Like there are like 18 different colors and like voices in my ear at the same time, just like saying the same thing, and I need to know exactly what to do in that moment.
I think part of it is like, I know for like my old man, Papa Dave, okay? He pulled up to Mankato, and he doesn't really know a whole lot about this type of stuff. He's tried to play a couple games every now and then. Like, he's played his fair share of like Minecraft, and like he knows about Rocket League and all that stuff. I sat him down the other day, and I said like, just try and do anything. And like, I think that gave him like a really okay perspective that like it's not just like this little baby thing a lot of the time. It does take like a whole lot of like skill, more than like you would think. If people showed up in person a little bit and they kind of like witnessed it themselves, I think a lot of their perspectives would change. And it's just, like I said, it's in its infancy, so it's not like super public, you know, so it's just like, this kind of sucks.
And for the final section, we asked them a question on if they saw any similarities in the answers that were said, and what they think esports could do to grow as a whole.
I think they just repeated like almost exactly what we were saying. Is like the more publicity, like it's in its infancy, so like there's not a whole lot of people don't really know about it. They don't really know what we do. They don't really know what our games even are. They don't even really know what it even looks like.
We're in a tricky situation right now where it is up and coming. However, it is also exploding. Big tournaments, they will put ads on YouTube or other platforms showcasing what's coming up. But then again, it doesn't have the foundation as these traditional sports, and so these traditional sports are thrown at people whether they want to see it or not. So they already know it's there, but with esports, you don't, because it doesn't have that longevity to it.
I think to get out there more, it's a lot of probably, I think we could do more to show like the effort that we put in.
Like we should be playing outside of like our like scheduled practices to like hone our skills. So it's like we're probably putting in
maybe like 20 hours a week. And so I think making that more seen, especially through I think social media, is probably the way to go about it. Like I know that we just got a new Instagram up, so.
Today apparently.
So I think, I mean, that was pretty much the common consensus, I feel like, throughout all of this, is like, oh, actually, like, let's hear more about it, let's see more of it, let's, I don't know, see like the commitments, because obviously they're not seeing like any of that because it's just not out there.
To show you guys what really goes on at an esports event, we went to the Wisconsin Esports Conference Championship. Now, to wrap this up, it's not really my job to tell you what to believe, but I do hope I brought some new awareness to what really goes on in esports and maybe just gave you a new perspective on it.
Esports Conference Championship trophy. Take it out home, garbage.